Hello everyone, good to see you all here. Okay, just would like to start with the note which Mr. Harish ended just now, saying that all the sports players were to know what it takes to be disciplined, how much determination you need to get better at sports, because one day you start with your sport, tomorrow you are better, each passing day you keep getting better. So that just gets you to know what your true potentiality is. So I really liked how you ended on that note, that you really need to start with some sport. If you are already into it, then you know what your potentiality is. So okay, then before I begin, I just want to know in this room how many of you all are between the age group of 18 to 24. Just raise your hands. Oh, okay. And 24 and above? 24 and above. Okay, cool. Now I know what kind of Gen Z slangs and meme references I can use. Okay, so let me start by sharing a story of a young girl who navigated and juggled through different career opportunities of this world, but couldn't pick anyone. But she took a serious suggestion from an elderly person, which was choose something you truly enjoy and whose impact you really care for and make it your career. And that time, that little girl thought thoroughly. And she thought that, okay, her talent was yapping. Do you know who that little girl is? That little girl was me. Yapper. So yes, it's me, Nurul Zain, youth leader, delegate, educator, policy champion, and a professional yapper. Okay. So before I proceed, may I request everyone to please stand up? Just a small request. I know it's a bit of lot of work. May I request everyone to stand up? How does it feel after standing, after like sitting so long, then standing up? Okay. Now, may I request this section, just like this row, like 1, 2, 3. Can you all please sit down? You all, okay, first let's imagine that we represent the young population of our country, 400 million individuals, right? So this group which are just sitting right now represent the 8% of the population who have never been to school, have never seen how a traditional classroom looks like, and have never known how to, operate healthcare services, and have no knowledge about how to deal with their health. This is the 8% of the population. Can I request this entire row to please sit down? You all represent the 50% of the young people's population who do go to school but get very substandard quality of education, lack SRHR education, and struggle to access employment opportunities. Okay, now may I request half of this room to please sit down. Like half of this entire, except like the first row. Yes, okay. You all embody the 85% of young people in India who do not have access to adequate mental health services. So this means that the tiny percentage right here standing are the young people who are able to access quality education, mental health services, sexual and reproductive health and rights services in India. Can you please sit down? Thank you so much. So these figures are alarming. And what's more disturbing is how these figures are translating into the headlines, which are here today. You can see this and this. I would just like you all to read and sit with it for a moment. So what we see here is societal stigma, superstitions, and social conditioning which continue to fuel these issues. And which is leading to all these issues prevailing in our country It's because young people are made to believe that these rights which we have come at a price. Only people with privilege can access all these rights, which is wrong. Rights are not privilege. I would repeat, rights are not privilege. The rights of young people should not be viewed as privileges. They are fundamental entitlements that deserve recognition and respect. Access to healthcare is a right, not privilege. Access to quality education is a right, not privilege. The ability to choose a career path is a right, not privilege. Access to mental health services is a right, not privilege. The freedom to choose your own identity is a right, not privilege. Participation of young people in decision making pertaining their lives is their right and not privilege. I would like all the young people sitting here repeat after me. Rights are not privileges.
Rights are not privileges.
Thank you so much. Everyone deserves equal access to these fundamental rights. Sadly, young people today are completely unaware that these are their rights and they exist. And the most vulnerable part of a community, the children's, they are completely unaware of it. And if you are someone who think that you have the privilege, as I consider that you all do, sitting here in this university, you all are privileged enough compared to all the percentages which we have just discussed. How can we translate that privilege to people without it? Only way to address this significant gap in equity is for those with privileges to identify the advantages which they are getting and to share it with people without it. To share it with the communities, vulnerable communities. So, all these issues require systematic change. So, what do I mean by systematic change? Considering the saying, give a man a fish for a day, he will be full for that day. And give a man a lesson of how to fish, he will be full for the rest of his life. So, this illustrates the power of teaching skills that lead to long-term self-sufficiency and self-building. I joined Teach for India educators community, and through that experience I have learned what it takes to be an educator. And if you want to be a leader, you have to be an educator. You cannot lead if you cannot educate. So unlike many of my peers who have chosen lucrative corporate paths, I opted for one that truly matters. So I am in government schools of Pune, Hyderabad and Delhi. These are the pictures from there. Trying to teach these young minds how to fish while also having a lot of fun in the process. I truly am inspired by the passion and potential of these kids which you see here. Each student has a unique story that highlights their struggles. Starting with, take Swarali, a student of 2nd grade with dyslexia, who battles through lack of support. Or Arshi, who is a student who is scared to go to school because of increasing corporal punishments. Then there's Devanshi, whose brothers go into private schools and she goes to government schools because their family considers her brothers as an asset and her as a liability, reinforcing harmful gender norms. Yes, gender biasness still exists. If you don't believe me, you can Google professions like advocate, doctor, surgeon. You will see all men, pictures of men. And when you Google professions like teachers, nurses, dancers, you will see all women. So, gender biases do exist, even in today's time. So these stories reflect systematic issues rooted in societal attitudes and lack of resources. The impact of these experiences is profound. Children like Swarali, Arshi, and Devanshi are deprived of their right and quality of education, stunting their potential and shaping their future. The reason for these disparities often lies in the entrenched social norms and economic factors. Families may prioritize boys over girls, and schools often do lack frameworks to support diverse learning needs. I say this because I have seen that happening. I am an educator who have seen that children do have different needs. Some people, like some students, do not have that bandwidth to learn in the traditional form. For example, a person with ADHD would have a different learning method, right? They might not be able to have undivided attention in the class. They might always need something to fidget. Like for example, I am a person with ADHD. I have a very low attention span. Mostly young people nowadays do have ADHD. They have really low attention span. So they are always fidgeting, doing something to focus on one thing completely. So these are certain things which our school's environment is not very accommodative of. But when young people lead, we can dismantle societal stigma, superstitions, and inequality. It takes a slightly different path. As Sir just quoted before in his speech, one decision away from a completely different life. I strongly believe that because I am that person who did choose an unconventional path, an unconventional route, and that changed the entire trajectory of my life. And I would proudly say that I enjoy what I do now. So when I say that we really need systematic changes, I would give you one example from this classroom. This is Udvita and Alia. Alia is teaching Udvita 2-digit addition. So this shows how collaboration has been steeped into students in classroom. So this is what a systematic change looks like. They don't need a teacher anymore in the class. If few students are able, or if they have the bandwidth to understand, they are able to leverage that opportunity of being a fast learner with someone who are slow learners. So this picture shows collaboration. I wasn't even there in that class, so the other teacher from the government school sent me this picture saying that, okay, look, all the students are helping each other. This class do not need a teacher anymore. So, lastly, I believe that there are 5 essential elements for leading today's generation of young people. Firstly is, please get your meme references right. Then, effective observation and imagination. I believe that these are 2 most important and very powerful human skills. Everyone is born with it. It depends on how you use it and how you refine it. That happens when you take certain small steps. If I were to ask here in the audience, what is that one skill? Like as I said in the starting, I feel that I'm a professional yapper, which is very, unconventional skill to have. But can I ask 2 people in the audience, what do they think is their skill which is very profound and different? Any 2 people would like to just take the lead and say it? Anyone here. Okay, right side. Someone from the right. Any one skill which you are really proud of? From right, left, or middle?
My art.
Okay, my art. Wow, that's great. Yes? Photography, yes? Photography. So it's very nice. Yes? Dance. Oh, so it's great to hear all these skills and people acknowledging that. Because what I truly believe is you should really do things which you like the most. Because choosing what truly you love, you keep gradually getting better at it. That just happens. If you have a natural inclination towards something, it means that you are just born to do that. Please at least do that first. Because you have that natural inclination towards that thing for a reason. Then understanding how you process things. Everyone has a different way of processing things and information. So understanding how your mind works, again getting on to mental health. Everyone has a different way of taking information, retaining it and then using it in different ways. Then just understand how you can use it. Then that happens again if you are observing yourself and you are using your power of imagination to its fullest. Then embracing the small steps that lead to larger change. So for young people navigating different and various opportunities, start with a small step, but start somewhere. Every effort counts towards building a future. Every young person can thrive with it. Thank you so much.